Thank all of you for coming out this morning. My name is David Moff. I'm CEO of the HR group. I do want to tell you a little bit about the history of what we've done here, Diversity Breakfast Forum. We're actually entering our 4th year of these quarterly diversity forums, and each quarter we sort of shine the light on a different topic around diversity. You know, most times people think of diversity and inclusion, they think it's race, right? They think it's a black-white issue, but we know that it's certainly goes much beyond that. So we've done forums on religious issues, community issues, issues in the educational system, persons with disabilities. So we've sort of taken on different topics. And of course, this quarter we're shining the light on a much different topic, which we'll talk about in just a second. So, and our mayor, newly elected Mayor Robbie Perkins, would like to make a few comments this morning.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and thank you, Mary Kay and Nancy, for being here. You know, today, y'all are coming together and doing some hard work. And any time that you kind of shuffle the deck in a community and say we're going to try to work together, it's important. When I first started in City Council in 1993 as a district representative for Northwest Greensboro, what is now District 3 was pretty much what I had the responsibility for. There was a 94% majority white population in that district. That was it. Today, it's 78%. And that's a period of 19 years. So it's changing dramatically. I was in Washington, D.C. the other day, and we were talking about how to get money into Greensboro, North Carolina, so we could benefit from a few things that need to be done here to create some jobs and economic development opportunities. And then I'm sitting in D.C. in an agency office asking folks about economic development. This was the Economic Development Organization for the United States of America, and I can't give you the right title, but they were talking about big money coming in here. And they said, you really ought to look at Tallahassee, Florida, because they're doing exactly what you just described wanting to do in Greensboro. With the airport on one side, the research center, nanotech center on the other, the university's close proximity to downtown with Florida A&M and Florida State. And how do you bring it all together? And I'm sitting there going, something's there. Something's in the air in this community. Something interesting is happening. And the way it works is one person interacting with another person, interacting with another person, one at a time, until that multiplier effect transforms our community. Because we are better as one Greensboro. We've had examples for the last couple of years about how we tried to function without working together. And we fell on our face, folks. And now we're picking ourselves up, and we're going to move forward as one community on our basic principle that we are better together than we are fighting each other. Thank you.
In July of this past 2011, I met David Fraccaro, and I had known of Faith Action International for a very long time, and knew the founder and former director, Mark Sills, who probably many of you may have known, and David has come in and sort of breathed new life and fresh life into the agency. So with that, I'd like for us to give a warm welcome to David Fraccaro.
Thank you, David, for the opportunity, and a big thanks to the entire HR group team, not only for the invitation, but for the good work that you do and for your ability to bring our community together to really tackle some important questions at this crucial time in America's history. My first day here in Greensboro was on July 4th. And that morning, I woke up, saw the July 4th parade. I don't know if any of you were here in the big festival, but Greensboro really showed up. I mean, there was Turkish food, there was a Cuban band, there were African-American gospel singers, and I was like, this place is all right. And so I wandered on down the street to the Greensboro Historical Museum, and I'm sure many of you have been there. And right as you enter in, there's the O. Henry quote, "What would a city say if a city could speak?" And immediately coming to Greensboro here to work with Faith Action, I wondered about that question in terms of what would our city say about our tremendous new influx of cultural, ethnic, and religious diversity. We're not the same town we were 15 years ago, and we have a choice to make. Are we going to fear, or are we going to embrace our new immigrant diversity? When I ask myself that O. Henry question again, what would a city say if a city could speak about whether or not it will fear and embrace its new diversity? I've gotten the sense in the 7 months that we haven't entirely answered that question yet. Again, I'm hoping to learn a lot and hoping that we as a group today can help answer that question. I want to say just a little bit more about Faith Action. We are here to help our community answer that question affirmatively. We recognize that, well, let me ask you a question. Is diversity a good thing or a bad thing?
Good.
Any other thoughts? That's typically the response that you get. But I would throw out to you that diversity is simply a fact. It's what we do with that diversity that makes it good or bad. And so Faith Action wants to work with the diversity that we have here to make sure that we as a community turn that diversity into something that will make Greensboro a model multicultural, interfaith, and immigrant welcoming city. But I think as we continue to grow, we have the potential to be a model interfaith, multicultural, and immigrant welcoming city. And just wanted to throw out a few hallmarks through Faith Action's lens of what might make for a model city in this regard. One, it would be cross-sector community support to meet the needs of all of our newcomers, to make sure that we provide the necessary opportunities and resources so that our newcomers can take that next step into participating more fully in the civic life of our community and not feel like they are in the shadows. So a lot more cross-sector support to meet these needs so that no one falls through a gap. Number two would be more opportunities for multicultural and interfaith education and community building. For instance, Faith Action is helping to sponsor a council of cultures entirely immigrant and refugee-led, who this summer will be launching an international soccer league with the help of the Human Resources, Relations Commission, and the city. And so we'll really be building relationship around the game of soccer. And our schools, our universities, our high schools, our middle schools, and our faith communities can really take the lead on providing these opportunities for bridges to be built amongst different cultures and faiths. And I think if we claim this opportunity, it's going to help us economically tremendously. Just throw out popcorn style. When people hear Greensboro, what is like a word they think of in terms of our identity?
Civil.
Civil rights?
No. Civil.
Civil? Civility? Other? Who are we? In a word or two.
Higher education. Higher education.
Higher education. Good. Good. What about model immigrant welcoming city? We really, I believe that we're sitting on a gold mine of diversity right now, if only we knew it. And having people come to Greensboro and lift us up economically because of our diversity in our food, in our arts and culture, in our politics, etc. Number three, that when one of our groups is threatened, we all respond. It's an insult to all of us. So I heard a beautiful example of that happening in a hair salon. And so if a mosque is defamed locally, there's not just the Muslim community who's speaking out, it's the entire faith community saying this is not acceptable. Or if there's a Latino restaurant worker who's not being paid fair wages or discriminated against, it's the entire community who stands up and says this is not acceptable, this is taboo. And number four, finally, we need to make sure that our laws and our policies reflect our values. We currently have a law called Secure Communities, a federal law that is forcing local law enforcement to enforce federal law. So if someone who is undocumented in our community is all of a sudden pulled over for a minor traffic violation and don't have a government-issued ID, they can be taken to the local jail where they're held for not having government-issued ID, but then they're fingerprinted, and our local law enforcement and the sheriff's office makes the decision to send those fingerprints to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the federal wing that's enforcing immigration policy, and they now have a double whammy of not only being arrested for not having an ID, but they're put into a detention facility. Again, our old jail may be a place for a lot more federal immigrant detainees. We need to keep a close eye on that. How are we going to embrace our diversity when people are afraid to leave their homes, even to come to a language class at Faith Action? We need to work together to make sure our laws reflect our community values. And that also goes for things like the DREAM Act, making sure that our young immigrant youth who came here when they were 4 years old, who are honor students, soccer stars, have the opportunity to get in-state tuition. I can't tell you the amount of youth that we encounter at Faith Action who don't have the ability to take that next step, to go into higher education because they can't afford it. What can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen, so that we are able to fulfill the dreams and help fulfill the dreams of our young immigrant youth? Our hope at Faith Action for 2012 is that we build some greater cross-sector cooperation to create a strategic plan for Greensboro becoming the first city in the Southeast to claim itself as an immigrant welcoming city. We have the right people in the room today to begin that process here in 2012. We have a real opportunity, I think, to make national news with that framework.